Hey guys, it's your boy Anu here from Lovell Soccer, and today we are in the boot room for a special, very special boot review. Now, the top I'm wearing might actually be giving away whose signature boot it is. Yes, he plays for Portugal, plays for Real Madrid, and has played for Manchester United. Have you worked out who it is yet? I'll give you a second. You should have. Yes, it could only be one player. It's Cristiano Ronaldo's new signature colorway, Born Leader, Chapter 6 in the Ronaldo story, and here they are. Now, before I get into the review, they will only actually be released as a pair of Superfly 360s. Now, they have been in the past, you know, Ronaldo's signature colorway being released in a pair of, you know, Vapors. However, for this signature colorway, they will only be released as a pair of Superfly 360s or Superfly 6s. So, wow. They come in pretty much a standard orange box with a white Nike swoosh, which is pretty nice. But they might want to change it up for Ronaldo's signature colorway. Should do, I think. But the first thing you get, this being a high-end Nike boot, is a string bag. And it's no ordinary string bag. Now take a look at that, guys. Absolutely amazing. So the bag's got a black base color. You've then got pinkish looking kind of strings to it. You've got the new CR7 for Chapter 6 logo, which is really cool. Now we'll talk about that in a bit more detail later on in the video. You've then got a bit of text which says created to the exact specifications of Cristiano Ronaldo. Now you would imagine, considering it's his own boot, he would have some say in the way it looks and the design of it, so that makes sense. You've then got number 14 on here. Now that isn't just there for, you know, fun. Nike don't just wait, think of a number and chuck it on there. No, that number 14 is actually the number of boots Nike have actually, you know, created for Cristiano Ronaldo, signature colorways for Cristiano Ronaldo on a pair of Nike boots. 14, that's quite a lot and just speaks volumes of how great a player he actually is. You've got CR7 branding there in gold also, and a Nike swoosh also there in gold. Now, all in all, guys, I'm a fan of this string bag, and definitely one you would want to take care of. So in my Sunday league game next Sunday, I'm definitely going to keep this away from the boys. I can imagine someone trying to nick this one. But all that's left inside the boots, guys, they're nice, are the boots. Take a look. Boom. I'm a fan. Let's get them out. Whew. Honestly, Nike, you've done it again. Get this out of the way. They've honestly done it again for me. Instantly, guys, I can tell you I'm a fan of these boots, the way they look. Unfortunate that they won't be, you know, released as a pair of Vapor 12s or Vapor 360s, but honestly, these are absolutely amazing. What I'll do is just put the left boot here for you guys to see throughout the video and just talk about the right boot here in my hand. Now, as you can see, guys, I'll take a look at the colors that Nike have actually used on the boot. Firstly, absolutely amazing. Now, if you're wondering why green, they took inspiration from the actual shirt that Portugal won the Euros in back in 2016. It's actually 2 years ago now, almost. Crazy. But yes, as you know, Ronaldo obviously won the Euros in 2016, and Nike decided, you know what, let's get a boot made that will tell that story for us. And they've essentially covered the whole boot in the color of the shirt that they won the Euros, which is basically a kind of greenish, bluish kind of color, almost like teal, I would say. And I like it. I think it works really well with the black accent color that you can see going along the upper there. And then it actually has a kind of a gradient effect, which fades nicely into the black dynamic fit color, which I think works really well. The only other color really that you have on the upper is this gold Nike swoosh gold branding that you can see on the lateral side of the boot there, which has a kind of design to it, which I will get into really soon. You've then also got another Nike swoosh on the medial on the instep side of the boot. Now, before I move on, I just want to bring this to your attention, guys. Now, this is a standard pair of Superfly 360s. Now, as you can see, it's got a Nike swoosh, pretty cool, on the toe box. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but you know, that's what Nike have decided to do. Moving on to this, however, you can see, considering it's the same exact boot, they've actually made the Nike swoosh a lot bigger, which I actually prefer. So just for that reason, I would actually get this boot, simply because of the Nike swoosh just being a lot bigger than this. Let me know what you guys think. Are you a fan of the small kind of Nike swoosh on the toe box, or the bigger versions on this signature colorway? Definitely this one for me. Now, back to the boot, guys. I'm now going to talk about one of the most significant parts of the boot, which is this. Now, this is the new CR7 logo for this chapter, Chapter 6, which you saw in the string bag. Now, the story behind this is that it's obviously C. He actually gained captaincy to Portugal at the age of 22. That is ridiculous. I think that's like, you know, someone like Sterling, I think is about that age, about 22. So imagining Sterling captaining England. That is what Ronaldo was doing back in the day, captaining Portugal at the age of 22. It's also got the cross, as you can see there, the Portugal cross on there, which you can see on the flag of Madeira, by the way, and also on the Portugal national team's shirt, which you can see kind of there also. So they've implemented that to create a logo, and it almost looks like a compass, and there's a reason for that. You know, the compass that you'd see on a ship or something, because Portugal years back, I'm giving you a history lesson here now, were, you know, explorers in history. So they, you know, ventured to many countries around the world on their ships, and obviously Ronaldo is from Portugal, so it's almost telling the story of the whole country as well as the national team, which is really cool and really thoughtful of Nike to do. So obviously, as you know, with the signature colorways, there's always a story. You've got the CR7 brand in there in pink, which I think works well, to be honest. It's kind of different because it's all kind of like darkish colors, and then you've just got this bright pinkish color coming out at you. At the back here, guys, you've got the Portugal colors there in a kind of red and greenish color. Yet again, another cross at the top, which, as I said, you can find on the Madeira flag, which is obviously where in Portugal Ronaldo is actually from. And as well as that, obviously you can see on the national team's kit. Moving on to the sole plate, guys, this is where Nike got really thoughtful with the design of this boot. If you take a close look at the, you know, where they've got rid of the midfoot part of the sole plate, you can see there's little crosses in gold, obviously representing the cross that you can see, you know, on the Madeira flag and on the national kit. And that for me is just like perfection. They've thought of every little bit of detail to the look of this boot, that tells me. And by the way, what I was saying earlier about the actual logo here, you can actually see that design implemented on the Nike swoosh as well in gold. So you can see Nike have thought about every single part of this boot look-wise. What I'll do now is just take the insole out really quickly for you guys, just to show you a bit more detail, or show you how much detail Nike have gone into creating this boot. So obviously you've got a kind of pinkish liner to the insole there. If you take a closer look, guys, at the insole, you've obviously got the CR7 brand in there in black and a black Nike swoosh. Not only that, guys, you've obviously got this, you know, Chapter 6 logo yet again, but it doesn't stop there. Nike decided to put, you know, some of the stats that, you know, Ronaldo holds. So European champion, all-time top scorer, most capped player of Portugal. Now, if I could have those kind of stats for England, I'd be an absolute legend, which is what Ronaldo is, an absolute legend. Now, moving on to the sole plate, lastly, guys, in terms of the look of this boot, if I bring back the regular sole plate of a regular, the release colorway of the Superfly 6s, you can see that the sole plate is actually the same color. However, for this signature colorway, Chapter 6, telling the story of Ronaldo, they have actually gone for an alternating color to the actual sole plate. So here you have a really nice kind of teal chrome finish to the sole plate in the forefoot section of the boot, but in the heel area they've gone for a plastic black look, and it's even got little details on that. Honestly, it's absolutely amazing, and they've gone for translucent tips at the edge of the studs. So all in all, guys, that is pretty much all of the colors and the looks and the inspiration behind this boot by Nike. I'm a big fan of it personally. Like, I think, you know, captaining your country at 22, you know, all those stats, top goal scorer, what else is it? European champion. Honestly, it matches, and it definitely deserves all this praise that this boot is getting. Absolutely amazing. What I'm gonna do now is take a closer look at the tech specs really quickly. I know you guys probably know all you need to know about this boot, but I'll just do it anyway for, you know, those of you that might not know about the Superfly 6s. Now, guys, it's a really lightweight boot. That's the first thing, which is obviously, you know, what a creative, skillful player like Ronaldo would want. So it's really thin as well. The upper, as you can see, really responsive. The only thing I will say, guys, is that it does take some kind of breaking time to actually wear these in, unlike the Superfly 5s, where I thought it was, you know, you could go straight into a game and play in them. With these, I feel like you kind of have to break into them a bit. However, saying that, as I said, you will get that kind of barefoot feel because the upper is extremely thin. And actually, by the way, for the first time, you can actually kind of see the Flyknit really well, just because of the shade of color that they've used on this boot, which is obviously kind of a greenish bluish color, as I said. So you can actually really see the Flyknit and the detail of it, the weaving of the knitted material, which is sick. You've then got Nike skin covering holding it all together so it doesn't get wet. As you know, the base material of this is a knitted material, so it does need some synthetic covering to hold it together. As well as that, guys, you've got the Flyknit exposed there, which then goes into the dynamic fit color, which is a lot shorter from the previous generation of the Superfly 5s. Simply because Ronaldo actually preferred them shorter. So I feel like they said, you know what, for the Superfly 6s, we're gonna make the dynamic fit color a lot shorter. And I actually prefer it because it doesn't go high up your ankle where you can actually feel it. With this, you don't actually feel it around your ankle whatsoever. You've also got ACC, all condition control. Now, you actually can't see where they've actually put that well, because it's actually in the same color as the boot. So it's almost in a green, bluish color, unlike with these whereby it's in black on an orange base. You can actually see that really well. It is there, but you can't see it as well. But as you know, you will be able to use these boots with that being there in wet weather as well as you do in kind of dry weather, which is really important. As I always say, in England it's raining right now outside, so you would want a pair of boots that actually have ACC on there. Moving on, you've got a centralized lacing system, guys. As normal, nothing new there. You've also got a pull tab, which is really cool, which allow you to put the boots on really easy without, you know, having to, like, you know, tear the laces open and widen on the dynamic fit color. That will definitely ensure it's a lot easier to put on. Really important that. You've got an internal heel counter that will hold your foot in place, and it's actually got a decent amount of padding, not too much, I would say, decent amount of padding there that should hold your foot in place really nicely. Lastly, guys, it's the sole plate. Now, as I said to you earlier, really cool that they've actually alternated the color of the sole plate. But not only that, guys, the sole plate is probably the most aggressive stud pattern you can actually see on a football boot in today's football boot market. It's kind of arrow shaped looking studs, which will really allow you to get some good traction, you know, on the pitch when taking off. And also this shape of the studs here, this stud pattern here, will allow for good rotation when turning. So when you want to kind of cut like that or like that, you know, really cool that they've done that. And mind you, guys, I know some of you might feel like they've actually removed the sole plate. No, they haven't removed the sole plate. The sole plate is there. However, with this 360 Flyknit technology, what they've done is that they've hidden it under this bit of material here, so it is actually still there. And one thing, guys, I will say is that this is an ergonomic sole plate. So what that means is that your foot is actually shaped the same as this sole plate here, so it's really snug when you put your foot inside the boot. So that's something to remember. And all in all, guys, I'm a fan of this boot. I know I've given you a history lesson today, but I think it's worth it because we're talking about a legend, an absolute legend, someone who's top goal scorer in the Champions League, top goal scorer for his country, most caps, you know, won the European Cup, won the Champions League back-to-back. You've got to have a long video with someone that has stats like that. But anyway, guys, as always, guys, you will be able to purchase this from the Lovell Soccer website. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can do so. They're retailing for $255, which, in all honesty, guys, for what you're getting, Chapter 6, a signature colorway of Ronaldo, is an amazing price. I am a big fan. I mean, even the little detail of that gold Nike swoosh there, I didn't mention that earlier. It's absolutely amazing. They've literally thought of every single part of this boot. But as I said, guys, make sure you check out the boot on the website, in the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'm gonna go now and have a little kick about with these bad boys. Until next time, see you later.